When I came back from work, I saw my 5-year-old son standing outside freezing in the snow. I slammed on the brakes and jumped out of my car. "Mason, baby, what are you doing out here?" He was shivering violently in just his school clothes. No jacket, tears frozen on his little face. Mommy locked me out. She said I can't come back until you get home from work. My heart stopped. It was 8:30 p.m. on a Thursday. Rachel knew I always worked late on Thursdays. This wasn't an accident. "How long have you been out here?" "Since after school," he whispered. I scooped him up, feeling how ice cold his little body was, and carried him toward our front door. It was locked. I used my key, rage building with every step. I found Rachel exactly where I expected, sprawled on the couch in her pajamas, wine glass in hand, watching reality TV. The heat was cranked up to 78 degrees. Empty takeout containers cluttered the coffee table. Why was our son outside for 5 hours? I tried to keep my voice controlled. She didn't even mute the TV. "He knocked over my coffee this morning and ruined my laptop. I told him actions have consequences." I stared at her in disbelief. "He's 5 years old, Rachel. He spilled coffee accidentally, and you left him outside to freeze. Maybe next time he'll watch where he's going around my stuff." That's when I noticed Mason's dinosaur backpack sitting by the front door. It was packed full, bulging at the seams. His favorite toy truck was sticking out the top. "What's this?" I pointed at the bag. Rachel finally muted the TV and turned to look at me. There was something dead in her eyes I'd never seen before. "I've been thinking all day while he was outside," she said slowly. "This whole mom thing isn't working for me. He's too much work, too expensive, too needy. And honestly, I never really wanted kids anyway." The room started tilting. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about you taking him and leaving tonight. I already called a locksmith. They're coming tomorrow to change everything." I felt like I was drowning. "You're abandoning your own son?" Mason was still clinging to me, his wet clothes soaking through my work shirt. He was hearing every word, his big eyes darting between us. "Here's the thing." Rachel stood up, stretching like this was completely normal. "He's not really my responsibility anymore. I mean, yeah, I gave birth to him, but I never signed up for this mom life. You can have him." The casual cruelty in her voice made me nauseated. This was the woman I'd been married to for 7 years, the woman who used to sing lullabies to Mason. "Rachel, he's your son. You can't just watch me." She picked up her phone. "I already talked to my friend Lisa, who knows a lawyer. Apparently, if I just give up my parental rights voluntarily, I don't have to pay child support either." Perfect. My hands started shaking, but not from fear, from pure fury. I pulled out my phone and speed dialed a number I'd hoped I'd never need. "Hi, David, it's Mike. Remember that emergency custody paperwork we discussed 6 months ago? File everything tonight." Rachel's wine glass slipped from her hands. "What are you doing?" "What you should have expected when you decided to mess with my son." I hit another number. "Mom, it's happening. Can you come get us? Bring the car seat." "Mike, you can't just take him." Rachel jumped up from the couch. I smiled and knew it looked ice cold. "Actually, I can. See, Rachel, I've been documenting your behavior for months. The times you called Mason a burden. The texts where you said you regretted having him. The videos of you yelling at him for normal kid behavior." Her face went completely pale. "My lawyer has everything. Screenshots, recordings, witness statements from daycare about the things you've said. Oh, and here's my favorite part. Mason's birth certificate, medical records, school registration. Everything's in my name because you said paperwork was boring and made me handle it all." Mom's headlights appeared in our driveway. "You have zero legal claim to him, Rachel. Zero. And after tonight's stunt with locking him outside, any judge will grant me full custody with a restraining order." I grabbed Mason's backpack with my free hand and headed for the door. "Say goodbye to your son, Rachel. It's the last time you'll see him." Mason finally spoke up in his tiny voice. "Bye, Mommy." She just stood there staring as we walked out forever. 3 years later, Mason doesn't even ask about her, and I'm married to someone who calls him her son and means it. Rachel is still drinking wine alone in that empty house. Some people get exactly what they choose.